530. So, yeah.
The house to the right of me just sold for 440, 439, somewhere around there.
All right.
Sold for, it needs work. The house next to that sold for 315. That one needs a lot of work.
You guys ready?
Ready.
All right. Today is Wednesday, May 6th. This is the Planning Board Workshop. I'm here with Harvey, John, and Dan, and it was Jamal? Jamel. Emphasis on the L. All right. From Southern Maine Planning and Development, and we're going to let him tell us a little bit about what he's brought for us and then tell him what we're looking for.
Great.
Go ahead.
Thanks for having me. Jamel Torres, Planning Director at SMPDC. I know you're well aware of the work that we all do as an organization. We've been working with you all for many years. So thanks for having me out. I was asked to come here to talk about the new housing legislation and how that could impact Parsonsfield. So I brought along 3 fact sheets that we developed last fall that talk about like the 3 most impactful bills we're seeing in our communities. So I'll start with 997, which is an act to allow residential use development in commercial districts. And essentially, this one, this law preempts local zoning that prevents residential uses in commercial zones. It intends to remove municipal zoning barriers to housing production and is designed to increase housing supply statewide. So basically, this requires residential units to be allowed within buildings located in commercially zoned areas. So I'm assuming that's the Keyser Falls, is your commercial district. So I'm not sure, I haven't looked at your ordinances to see whether your current regulations are good with this, but that's in a nutshell, that's what this law requires. And you can enact certain limitations and design requirements, such as where the residential units can be located, usually on above the ground level. Like if you think about a classic downtown, usually it's like commercial and then residential above. And you can do like area-based limitations, so certain square footages for different uses. Do you want to keep moving on, or should I see if there's questions? How do you want to?
Yeah. Any questions, guys? Keep going.
Folks aren't usually too concerned about this one. Save the best for last. LD 427 is an act to regulate municipal parking space minimums. And this is essentially, you cannot, I'll read the overview. And then this law preempts local zoning that establishes parking minimums for residential uses. It intends to remove municipal zoning barriers to housing production, as parking is an expensive part of any development. It disallows requirements for more than 1 parking space per residential unit within growth areas. So the developer can provide more than 1 space, but a municipality can't require more than 1 per unit. But a developer could still say, that doesn't work for my program, I want 2 spaces per unit, because I know my residential homes will have 2 cars. But the ordinances must say 1 space per unit.
That is one I know we'll have to adjust.
Yeah.
I think it's just important that it doesn't mean that developers can't build more.
Right.
It's just the underlying requirement. Usually we see 1 off-street parking space in more dense areas where you can walk places like to work and to other places to recreate. Obviously, in rural areas, most households have at least 2 cars and require 2 spaces.
Know too many people that walk to work around here.
It's a long walk. And I mean, maybe in Keyser Falls, there's a few small businesses where you could.
There's a guy who works at Village who walks down the street a couple miles.
I see them every once in a while.
Yeah, so that's that one. And then LD 1829 is the one that really made a lot of headlines. It was a very juicy, intense housing bill that I think surprised a lot of people, especially in rural areas, and even urban areas. And I will say that some of the language or some of the language on the fact sheet has changed. They just passed what they were calling it a fix-it bill in their last session that just ended in Augusta. And the LD is 2173. So we're looking at that and what it changed to then update this sheet because it did make some changes. I think what it did in summary, it relaxed some of the growth areas with public water and sewer and not in growth areas. It relaxed the square footage. Doesn't apply here, but we're still going to update these. So, and they also pushed out the deadline to meet the implementation for council-based municipalities, which I know Parsonsfield is not, 1 year out to July 2027, which is what it is for town meeting.
Okay.
Governments as well, like Parsonsfield. So this law preempts local zoning that restricts residential density. It's intended to remove barriers to housing and is designed to increase housing supply statewide. So applicable areas, I'm going to go, there's 5 sections in the fact sheet. So I'm just going to go affordable housing density. This applies to qualified affordable housing developments in any area with public water and sewer or in a designated growth area where multifamily dwellings are allowed. So you can have a bonus story of at least 14 feet above your height requirements for affordable housing developments.
And my understanding that doesn't include ADUs, is that right?
What's that?
It doesn't include ADUs?
Not for that one. I think ADUs are actually supposed to be like organic affordability because they're small, so you can only charge so much. So there's fewer provisions for those other than size. For dwellings per lot, this applies to Parsonsfield. Any residential lot must allow at least 3 dwelling units. I assume your ordinances do not have that. And again, just because it says that in the ordinance doesn't mean that 75 developers are going to come put 3 houses on every lot. It's just an allowance that the town has to allow. It still requires the market to support it and for people to want to put perhaps 2 other dwelling units on their land. We see a lot of families wanting to do this for younger folks who can't afford their first home and then who want to live close to their parents or friends or grandparents. That's our experience. For the 4 units per lot, this requires, so lots in growth areas or public water and sewer areas must allow at least 4 dwelling units. And dimensional requirements for multiple units cannot be greater than those for single units. That would also apply here. The next 3, the next 2 don't apply because you don't have water and sewer. And the last one, growth area without public water and sewer. The minimum lot size must be less than or equal to state subsurface waste disposal minimum lot law of 20,000 square feet in the growth areas. So half an acre approximately. For accessory dwelling units, owner occupancy cannot be required in an ADU or its primary unit anymore. ADUs can be attached or detached from a multi-unit structure. And fire sprinklers cannot be required for buildings of 1 or 2 dwelling units, including ADUs, unless the National Fire Protection requires it. For planning board review, you cannot require the planning board to review 4 or few dwelling units within a structure. That's a big change. Before it was anything over 2 units, so anything beyond a duplex. It was so 3 units or more, and now it's 4. And then the training, members of the planning board and zoning board must attend a training within 180 days of either 2 Septembers ago, no, last September, or for new members. And then for subdivision, I guess for training, that's a really vague requirement that we're still trying to wrap our head around, but we do offer planning board trainings for our members.
Ask you about
We've done 2 in the last few months, one in Newfield and one in Biddeford.
Yeah, that's something we're all gonna have to do.
Okay.
Because that was something we didn't know how or where we're supposed to do that.
We charge a flat fee of $1,000. That includes prep for the presentation. We usually bring in ordinances and then two of us
Come here, so it's not.
will come here and do the presentation and discussion.
That's an excellent,
So it's a,
that's required now.
Right. Now, is that open to if we could get a couple other towns to do it with us, or is that strictly?
well, the thing about, we could talk about that. We
Okay.
usually do it in one town because we refer to specific ordinances
Right.
throughout the presentation. But if you really wanted to partner with Porter, or we could probably figure out something.
Yeah.
Might just be a little less specific.
Okay.
Because then, I don't know if we would be able to do like 3 different ordinances. It would just be a really long presentation.
Right.
Yeah. We try and keep it at like an hour, hour and a half. There's a lot of material.
Yep.
We try to not go over that much time because
Here's the one about handling lawyers.
it's always good to have a municipal attorney.
Right.
They usually keep you out of trouble.
Yeah. All right.
So the last one's subdivision. A subdivision is still the division of 3 or more division of land, 3 or more lots within a 5-year period. That hasn't changed. The part that has changed is that now the creation or division of a structure into 5 or more dwelling units within 5 years instead of 3 or more. So previously the threshold was 3 or more. So 3 or 4 dwelling units within one structure is no longer considered a subdivision. So it would just be, if it was 4 units, it wouldn't have planning board review at all. It would just be code office. And if it was 5, then it would be like a site plan review. So that would be probably an ordinance change for Parsonsfield.
I have some questions on that. So is it still, let's say, the amount of homes or the amount of units within a lot, is that still subject to site-specific approvals? For example, if there's wetlands or
Yes.
anything like that?
And it has to be buildable.
Mm-hmm.
So certain shoreline zoning and different environmental laws would apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that not, is that directed by the planning board still, or is that a code-specific thing that, for the CEO to monitor?
That would be a code officer.
Okay.
Since it wouldn't go before the planning board.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you have any provisions where the code officer can bring a project to the planning board if they don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
We could work on that. I think sometimes that code officers are put in potentially a weird place to sign off themselves. And might want to refer to the planning board, so we can look at that. Any other questions?
So obviously this is going to be, I think, quite a few changes to the land use ordinance. How is this going to also affect our comp plan?
I'd have to look through it to answer that specifically, but where in it do you think it would change? Like, is there,
I'm thinking on growth. That's the only thing that comes to mind. We did just have the comp plan updated, was it 2 years ago?
yeah,
So,
so 24 maybe?
yeah, I think it was 24. Look. Yeah, 2024. I mean, I know we just updated that, but that was actually one of our laundry list items, was bringing the land use ordinance up to date with the comp plan. So if we're going to need to make changes to land use, do we need to make additional changes to the comp plan?
I need to look through it to answer that, but my gut feeling is no.
Okay,
Unless since some of these are based on growth areas, if you wanted to change your growth areas, so some of this didn't apply, that would be one change that we've seen in some towns.
okay,
I think it was South Berwick, like pretty significant, they were gonna reduce their growth area by quite a bit.
yeah,
They just didn't, because they have sewer and they were pretty scared of the 5,000 square foot.
yeah. I mean, the two growth areas are 160 by Maple Crest and then Keezer Falls. I mean,
Yeah.
Keezer Falls is already congested, so, I mean, that's, I wouldn't even know where to begin on Cedar Falls.
Yeah, that one's almost like natural.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like, why, you should have a growth area there.
yeah,
it's just been there for so long.
Yeah,
right.
maybe the other one, that could be a change if residents are really upset. Or maybe you want growth there. I don't know.
Well,
But the lot sizes would be reduced
Right,
quite a bit.
yeah,
it's such a mishmash of buildings down there in Keys Falls.
Yeah,
That the ones in front of the mills are the ones that should be removed and make the lower part of it, accessible and for parking areas. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. That's the whole problem. I know they talked about putting in, businesses and then residential.
There's been some minor progress. I don't know too much, but they're starting to talk to people about doing things.
Doing what?
Cleaning up the lot area and getting quotes on different stuff for the mill building.
Yeah,
it's a pretty cool building.
It's a great building. And it's, from what I understand, it's got great bones too.
Looks like it.
Yeah, very cool because, it's gonna take a lot of work, a lot of money, but it'd be awesome to see that up and going again.
You certainly wouldn't be allowed to build so close,
Yeah,
over the river.
yeah,
Like DEP would never let you do that now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a pretty cool opportunity
yeah.
for the area, I would say,
yeah, for sure.
as long as they can figure out the septic.
Right? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that we looked into the septic system years ago for that unit, but we need extra land and then it'd have to be put outside of the town area, which would put you down by, the gravel pit down there. If they would even purchase the land, but at that time it was about $1 million to even think about it.
Yeah,
And then you have Porter situation where people that live in the center didn't want to pay for their sewage in that basis, water in, water out can get expensive sometimes. So that got pretty much the time. Of course, we didn't have $1 million to spend on it.
I have a question on this. So this is, it pertains to growth areas predominantly.
some of it, yeah.
How does the multiple units per structure affect non-growth areas? Does it apply to that?
Which part?
So the 3 units within a lot for any residential unit, is that any residential unit anywhere?
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Any residential lot in the entire town.
Okay.
That's
And there's
allowed.
no, so there could be no ordinance specifically stating only single-family units?
It says 3 dwelling units,
Okay,
so you could do 1 single family, 1 duplex.
okay,
You could do with, if the town allows multifamily in the rural area, I assume it doesn't, but if it did, you could do a 3-unit building. It
okay.
just has to allow some sort of mechanism to have 3 dwelling units, so it could be 3 single family.
And so you mentioned multifamily ordinance for that. Is that required for that to apply?
A lot of towns don't allow multifamily structures in their rural zones,
Right.
so it'd have to change if that's what Parsonsville wanted.
But if let's just say we didn't want that.
Then you would just say 3 single family units.
Okay,
Yeah, or like I said, a duplex and 1.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so different structures that would
Yeah.
accommodate for that. Now, okay, so what about lot sizes per unit? So we have something within our ordinance right now that showcases a single-family lot, let's just say in the village area is 100 feet for road frontage. And in our ordinance, it says that any multiple unit structure, whether it's a principal use or another living quarters, must accommodate the same conformity. So 100 feet would then theoretically apply to any added structure.
So you're saying that if you were to add units, it would add frontage requirements?
According to vague wording within the ordinance, yeah.
I think, I'd have to look into this, but I think the the dimensional requirements are not greater than for one unit.
Mhm.
So you couldn't require 300 feet of frontage for 3 units. It would be your 100 feet.
But could we change the zoning, let's say, to require 300 just for practical purposes, 3 living situation? And then that would be applicable to any living quarters.
You have to treat it like one unit
Okay.
for the multiple on lot.
Yeah.
According to the law. So if you had a 3-acre lot and it had 100 feet of frontage on 160, you couldn't require 300. You could only require 1. You have to treat it as if it's 1 unit, but you have to allow 3.
Right. And that's because our ordinance says 100 feet.
Yeah.
Now, could we change that ordinance to require more road frontage?
Yeah. I mean, you might want to talk to like the fire department,
Sure.
but usually the frontage is because it's like what I'm not really sure, but like it's something to do with pulling up a truck and needing a certain amount of space to access the building or something.
Yeah.
That's a planner talking for the fire department, but that's usually what it is. So you could make the frontage greater.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, realistically, you want to make all the setbacks greater,
If that's what the community wants.
right?
Yeah.
Could
We want to still try and,
maintain.
yeah.
What are the setbacks in the rural area?
So rural, it's 200 feet of frontage. Minimum lot depth is 200 feet. Front setback from center line is 75 feet. Side setback is 25. Rear is 50. Maximum lot coverage is 30%. Maximum height of the structure is 35 feet, and maximum building size is 1,500 square feet. Minimum floor is 600.
Building size.
Maximum
Is
building.
that like footprint or like living area?
That's a good question.
I think it's probably footprint.
What does it say again, Desiree?
So maximum building size is 1,500 square foot, and that's across all the zones.
Interesting. Yeah, I imagine that has to be footprint, but yeah, it doesn't specify, does it? So,
No.
and it just says building size.
Maximum building size. I want to say we had that same conundrum in Cornish many moons ago. And I think it was the building as a whole, not
Okay,
footprint is what they determined.
interesting.
But
It's kind of the way it sounds.
right,
It's not specific and just says built structure or building
building size.
size. Yeah.
Yeah, so we would have to look at that table and if you allow for 3 units, maybe you want the front setback to be more side or rear or whatever.
Right,
So there's more like protection of neighbors.
yeah. I'm just thinking some of the smaller lots, because without it's, 2 acres. I mean, 2 acres, you could keep those buffers with potentially 3 dwellings on there, but still, that's a lot,
And then the growth area, the max would be 20,000.
right?
Does this affect non-conforming lots that were grandfathered in after ordinance or comp plan? So if we have a non-conforming lot that's got 50 feet of road frontage in a rural area, but it already had a structure on it, now, according to our ordinance, you can maintain that structure, but you can't do anything else with it. You can't make it more non-conforming.
Could you add to it if you don't make it more non-conforming?
As long as you're not making it more non-conforming.
Right, so like you could go like back if it's right on the road or something.
Sure.
I think the non-conforming provisions would still apply. Yeah. But if there was a non-conforming lot with 3 dwelling units,
Mhm.
then it would become conforming. If you allow 3 dwelling units, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But usually I'm sure there aren't many of those,
Yeah.
anyway.
But yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah,
Big one. 20,000 square foot. Maximum lot minimum.
and of course, we can't plan for everything. Don't have a crystal ball.
I mean, I think a lot of people, including planners, were pretty surprised when this came out. Like, this is like the most
Yeah,
impactful housing legislation that we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It really takes, I don't want to say power, but it really takes the gumption from the towns and,
I mean, LD 2003 was a few years ago,
yeah,
and you guys worked that in already, right?
yeah,
that had some impacts, but I would say this is like way more, because it's not just affordable housing,
Right,
it's anything.
yeah,
It interferes with zoning too.
right.
Yeah.
It's across all, basically across all zones, not just specifics.
Desiree, I wonder what you think about this. Do you think it valuable to have a public, after we've kind of figured out what's going on here and how this might change, if it changes comp plan stuff or if it changes in how it changes ordinances, to have a public hearing just to be able to let the public give feedback?
We have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any ordinance changes, there's a specific timeline and it escapes me what it specifically is, but whatever ordinance amendments we put forth, we need to hold the public hearing. Then we send it to the select board. They would then hold a public hearing and then it would go to town vote.
Even in this case where we're updating ordinances? Good.
Yep,
Like even beyond that, we suggest maybe just like
an informational meeting.
informational,
Yeah,
because a lot of this stuff is like the town has to do it.
right,
So even, we've seen some towns with LD 2003, like get past write it into their ordinance and then the town's like, well, I don't want that.
Right.
Then it fails,
right,
then the town's not in compliance with the state. So like just explaining that, I think, to the public.
right.
The
Yeah,
towns are kind of,
We have to do this or we won't be in compliance, which means we don't get state funds.
and like developers could say like, well, I'm doing this because
Right. So the,
state law says.
Right.
It would just be kind of messy.
That informational, is that something that your group would put together?
Yeah, we can put that in like a scope.
Mhm.
We've done 3 of them, we can do 1 of them,
Right.
whatever works for you guys.
right. Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely need these updates to the ordinance.
And we're happy to help with that.
Yeah, exactly. How would you write this up? I mean, this is pretty well all over the place.
What we'll do is if the town wants to move forward, we'll draft a scope of work and fee with a timeline, and we'll, if the town agrees to that
Right.
number, then we'll draft up a contract and
Right.
work with you all on it.
Yeah, ultimately, that's what we need because we need to say that we want it and push it to the select board.
Okay.
So whatever, and again, like I said, we have a laundry list, so if you take everything, if you want to give us X, Y, Z can get done right now and so on.
Okay. Do you think you'd want to do a public session beyond the hearings? Should we include that? Or do you want to like think about that?
Yeah, add it to the list so we know what the cost is.
Okay.
I'd rather have you write down all the costs than us backpedal and say, hey, we need to do this.
Yeah.
So,
What we did with Wilmington is we sent them a scope and then they decided that the planning board decided that they could do some of the work themselves. Part of the work is doing like research on the ordinance and coming up with an outline.
Yep.
And then instead of having us doing the drafting, they thought that they could do it. So then we would just review their work.
Yep.
So it could cut down on costs by a few $1,000s.
right.
Yeah, because I go in front of the budget committee, I'd like to ask for that.
Right.
When do you need it by?
So if we could get it by the 20th,
Of May?
yep. What I'll do is, so that's our regular meeting. And at our regular meeting, we can vote on stuff. So what we could do is we could make the recommendation to push your scope of work and your proposal to the select board.
Okay.
And just start to get the ball rolling a little bit.
Who should I send it to?
planning@parsonsfield.org.
Now, could this be separated for the ordinance, for our ordinance book? I mean, is this one area that we can put this in, or is it spread out all over the whole?
I'd have to look at your ordinance, but that'd be part of the project.
Yeah, I'm sure it's spread out. I think the LD 2003 covered, not like a third of the ordinance sporadically.
Is it planning@parsonsfield.org?
Yes.
Okay. Does that go to you all?
So it's a general email and then, so the planning board secretary who's not here tonight disperses it out to the rest of us. So it's one funnel of
Yeah,
communication.
that's good.
So,
Yeah, so we'll send a PDF,
perfect.
and then we can discuss if
Yep.
questions.
Perfect. So yeah, to add on to what we would like, for you to just give us an idea of what the cost will be. So of course, updating the land use to be in line with the comp plan. And then we had started to do it ourselves, and the chair at the time actually is now a selectman. We want to separate out the shoreland zoning from the land use, which I know is a huge undertaking. But right now it's all interspersed in the ordinance. So if somebody in the shoreland zone wanted to do something, they have to look in 20 different places instead of going to just one section.
So it's like subsections of a section?
Yeah.
Shoreland?
Yeah,
Yikes, okay.
yeah, yeah,
It's not abnormal,
right.
it's just really difficult,
It is.
unless you're like a whiz, you know?
Yeah. So, and then we have been looking at a cluster development ordinance. I know there's a couple in the surrounding towns. I think Dan actually gave us one. But it's part of the comp plan to have a cluster development ordinance
For residential?
for residential. So that's something we'd like to either have a separate section or have it, make sure the whole ordinance is in line with that.
That'd be new?
I believe so. I don't think we really have anything in the actual ordinance right now that,
We could just look at the comp plan.
yeah. And then a cap growth ordinance, again, that came up as part of the comp plan.
Do you not have one now?
Not that I've seen or read about.
Do you know how many residential units get permitted a year?
No, that's something we've been trying to put a finger on.
I think the law is like it can't be under 105% of your like 10-year average.
Okay.
So we'd have to work with the code officer on that.
So I will, reach out to the clerks again.
Yep.
Because they can pull a lot of stuff through the Trio software to see how many building permits have been issued.
I mean, it's probably like 10.
I would say
Most.
probably right around there, maybe a little bit more. I know 4 building permits have been pulled in the last 3 years right next to me, so, I don't know about the whole rest of the town. So yeah, cap growth and then a solar ordinance. We've had a couple.
Like solar farms.
Solar farms, yep. We've had a couple questions about solar farms before that we've directed to the CEO to handle. So I think eventually impact us more than we think.
When do you want to do all of these ordinance projects?
So I'd like you to tell me, what you think the cost is
For each?
for each,
Okay.
how long you think each might take.
Okay. We probably can't do that by the 20th,
Right,
but maybe by like your June.
okay. Yep, June would be the 17th. June 17th.
It may be July. I'm just,
Oh, you're,
not May.
yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
If we have it be like the third Monday of the month, we can look at the third Wednesday of the month.
Okay. Third Monday.
And we'll just leave SMPDC on the agenda so that it's there whenever we get it.
And third Monday, and then the meetings are the third Wednesday?
Correct.
So you just need it 2 days in advance?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave SMPDC on the agenda so that whenever we get it from you, we can discuss it.
Okay.
And it's my understanding with the cluster development, I've been reading through the ordinances, trying to find all of that info.
Believe so.
It seems like the only thing we don't have that other cities have or other municipalities have is an ordinance that allows for less square footage per lot if they give more land to open space.
Okay.
So generally 30 to 50%, like is what I think Newfield did. But then you can shrink your lot size by a significant margin by basically opening up the land just to open space.
Yeah, the way I've seen it in other towns is like the overall dimensional requirements are the same. It's like it ends up being 3 units per acre, let's say. but they're all in like one area. So it looks like less or more per acre, but like with the open space, it's actually the same.
Yeah, that's what it is too.
Yeah.
From what I
It
understand.
just clusters it so you can preserve more land.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's when you get those great, like, weird villages you see in towns, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Why is that there? We can do that.
Is
It might
there,
end up being, like, based on the cost, it could end up like over the series of a few years, maybe. Like, we're happy to do one per year or whatever
Right,
would work budget-wise.
right. I know these are probably going to be the most pressing because these are state mandated.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't know.
anything new on cannabis?
oh man, I don't even get involved in that. I just do what I'm told. Cannabis, stuff that I know of.
You know,
Cool.
You guys have, you allow recreational.
Yeah, both. Yep.
You have to allow medical, right? Or medical caregivers, not storefronts.
So we actually do have, it's, what is it?
we have 3 units and 2 growers. Probably more growers, but we don't know.
It's,
Yeah. Well, I know 2 rec stores just opened.
Yeah,
yeah.
third one's going across over here, so
Right.
Really?
that's
So-
on the way.
Yeah, we have a caregiver that's going to add medical and adult use cultivation.
Okay.
So,
Does say that in our ordinance, does say medical dispensaries are strictly prohibited.
Okay.
right. Is there anything else that I missed? I think I got everything that we had discussed.
Can I just go through it?
Yeah, of course.
Separate shoreline zoning
Yep,
and like create a separate section.
yep,
Cluster development ordinance, rate of growth, and solar farm.
yep. And then the land use in compliance with the comp plan.
What is that?
So when the comp plan was updated, the ordinance was never updated to be in line with the comp plan. So there's a couple places, and I can't name names or point fingers, but there's spots that don't align with what the comp plan is now.
Would that be like the future land use section?
Yes, I believe so.
I can ask Reagan too.
Yeah, I just know that as we've been going through a couple applications recently, it's been brought up that the land use doesn't match the comp plan. And, the land use is the law where the comp plan is, for lack of a better word, guidelines.
Yeah,
And we're trying to make sure that the laws match the guidelines.
got it.
I think that's what my question was, if we should update. We have a paragraph on marijuana in here. When we wrote it, we were just getting in changes in all these ordinances. Well, we had this thing pretty much wrapped up at that point. So I don't know if we should be a little bit more extensive with
Right.
the comp plan eventually.
Is there a cannabis ordinance?
Yeah, we do have so we have a cannabis facility licensing ordinance. And then everything else is part of the land use ordinance. So yeah, it's a lot to throw at you and
Yeah,
it's.
we're happy to do it. I mean, it's good for us and ultimately.
Right,
But I'm not sure, I definitely can't do that by May,
right,
but we'll get them to you soon.
perfect. And if you have any questions, the planning at Parsonsfield is a perfect way to get a hold of us.
Okay.
If you need more information on any specific thing.
We'll get you the housing one
Yep,
before the 20th though.
perfect.
That's probably the most pressing, I would think.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
and if you could get us like a scope of work or invoice for the training so that we can push that to the selectmen as well.
Okay,
So we can,
We'll probably have some new members by September.
right, we have, what do we say? We have one open position. Your position is up. What else?
Yeah,
it's a flat fee of 1,000, but I'll just put it in an email.
Right. Yeah, because if we do have new members for September, I'd kind of like to push it out, but I know that's probably waiting a little too long to get us up to speed.
I mean, I don't know if there's like a enforcement police driving around the state being like, did you get your training? I think
Right.
it's more of like
Well, it's being covered for legal aspects. Things are becoming much more legal than they used to be.
Yeah,
Before it was, handshake and a smile,
it was. We would probably prefer to do that in September.
Right.
We tend to not try and do stuff like this over the summer because
Right.
it's really hard to, people's schedules are just really busy with travel and fun.
Same.
So I think we would seek fall
Okay,
for that.
perfect. Yeah, if we could push it out till late September, 1st of October,
Okay,
that would put us with potentially 2 to 3 new members.
that's good.
And that would be, hopefully that would be a full complement of the board.
Yeah, that'd be good. It'd be good to get everybody at once.
So I know this is for planning, it's primarily for planning board. Is it worth it to involve the zoning board as well?
We don't cover that at all,
Okay,
but they're welcome to attend. It's
Right.
just for planning board.
right. If somebody else sits in, it's okay. If it's over their head, they're
I think it's like a public meeting, so,
perfect.
yeah.
All right.
And we'll have like a packet that we'll leave with you guys. It's like a manual kind of thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else?
a lot to think about.
We have a lot of homework.
Yes.
So,
Well, is there any value in us trying to get the grant?
yeah, I mean, through the housing opportunity program, is that what you mean? They just released their second round of grants. Is that what you're talking about?
Well,
There's state funding available to fund the updating of your ordinances
Okay.
through a grant process.
yeah,
And I don't think I've heard of anyone who hasn't gotten one.
Nice.
well, that's our position too. We have not done a grant, say.
Yeah, some towns just, are using their own funds, but there is money out there to work on.
Well, other than your costs, usually the ads and stuff are covered under our basics.
Right,
I think it would be the cost of like hiring someone to help,
right,
basically.
That's where we could get that money back or whatever.
right.
Okay, well,
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate you stopping in and hanging out.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
and you walk home from here?
You can leave these too.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll leave those in case somebody else
Appreciate
needs them.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
Thank you so much. All right. Any other ordinance processes, procedures we need to go over?
I have an ordinance proposal,
Sure.
which my ordinance proposal would, any subdivision, any new subdivision not in a growth area would be, that is 6 or more lots, required to own lot size 125% the current lot minimum.
Okay.
I've got a draft that I'm working on, right? I've got it written up, I'm just
Yeah.
editing it so I can send that out to the board once I get it
Sure.
double checked and done. But that's the meat of it. So any area not in a growth section would be, so if it's in farming, 3 acres,
Yeah.
and it's a 30-acre section and someone wants to put a subdivision in there, then it would make each lot, instead of 3 acres, it would make it 125% of that, so 3 point,
I was gonna say use 4 acres, it would be a 5-acre lot.
yeah.
Cool. I kind of like it. So I guess for processes, kind of, at the staff meeting we had, we discussed monthly updates from each department. So my update is we have nothing new on the 520 agenda. It's all stuff that's carried over from the last one. And to ask for the town meeting timeline again, to make sure that if we do have amendments, that we get them to the clerk, to the selectmen in time to make sure they're on the September warrant. Is there anything else that you would like to update the rest of the staff on? No, I'll add that we met with SMPDC.
I mean, I guess that's the biggest thing we're working on is just making it in compliance with the state
Right.
stuff. Yeah, and I think, did you and Roger have any ordinance suggestions as far as land lot sizes? I remember one workshop, we discussed it briefly, but then there was some side conversation, so I don't know if we ever continued that, but you
Right.
guys discussing potentially increasing lot minimums, so like farming and forestry is 3 acres, but I think other towns are 5, so I think it could be realistic for us to move that to 5 acres.
Yeah, I mean, so the table that's in the book is incorrect, you know, it's transposed. I mean, I would be open to making the lot sizes bigger. You know, that wouldn't affect any current projects. I definitely think that falls kind of into the growth,
You'd have to increase the village areas
right?
to coincide with that. That's, might be something to take up with the zoning board when it happens. I don't know if that's possible.
Right,
My thought is just that it's the rural characteristic is the most pressing, so farm and forestry in particular covers most of the most rural areas of Parsons Field. So even if I think if we went like one zone at a time and just looked it up.
Well, I'm kind of in a position where my particular lot is right next to the village area. What determines that is a road. That would be in expansive areas at some point, same with the box shop. So,
yeah.
my hearing aids are singing to me. Uh-oh. I'm gonna take this.
Sure.
Hello? Hello?
So
Come on, what's up, huh?
conversation comes.
There's a bear in the, we'll have them put some clothes on, I'll be.
Yeah, farm and forest is definitely
Okay,
the biggest.
I'm coming right home. I'll be, yeah. Haven't seen one of them in years,
Right,
so I better go. My wife's worried.
go scare it off.
Last time I did that, I had my 357 out. I fired it off into the ground and just to scare him away, and I blew my eardrum out.
Turn your hearing aid off and then,
Oh, I know, tell me about it.
yeah, I would be willing to look into, you know, it kind of sounds like you've already started looking into it. Do you want to put together, like a comparison of what the surrounding towns, lot sizes are per their districts?
I can do that.
Okay,
I can send that over the email as well. So I'll plan on sending that draft the draft ordinance, and then just a comparison of different lots and lot minimums for different towns in the area. I just think it's a good idea. I love the rural characteristic of our town, and I want to try and preserve it. And all the stuff from the state's coming down, and
right.
10 years it could be an unrecognizable town. I want
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, the LD 1829 is pretty crazy.
You got enough here to close the meeting?
Yeah, it's just a workshop. I think
You know that?
we'll be fine, Harvey. Thank you.
Good luck, Harvey.
Bears can get around there.
I kind of wish I had a bear problem. I got a porcupine problem. He's eating all the tulips.
That's worse.
I got rid of 2 of them out of my yard the other day.
Yeah,
They were chewing the branches off the trees.
really?
And I look up and there's 2 of them. I said,
This wind doesn't stop out, I'm gonna lose my greenhouse.
Gee.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Good night, take care.
Yeah, you too, Harvey.
I protected my fruit trees from them, so far that's all right. They're going after the tulips like nobody's business.
Yeah, I mean, with the growth, so on the sheet says the growth areas, the minimum lot must be, is that less than 5,000 or greater than 5,000 square feet?
That's for public water.
Well, growth areas and areas with public water. So the two growth areas we have,
But then there it says on the bottom, growth area without public water, minimum
Okay.
lot size must be
Thank-
20,000 square feet.
20,000.
So
Okay.
it's funny because we just changed that because it was in the ordinance as a mistake.
right,
And now apparently that was correct.
right. Yeah, what are your thoughts on it not being sprinkled, John?
What's that?
The fire sprinklers cannot be required. What do you think about that?
They're trying to do away with that, so it makes the housing cheaper to build. So they're separating the units, because once you put 3 units tied together, then you have to sprinkle it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is definitely gonna make things interesting.
And hopefully we're far enough out to where developers are gonna wanna come here and put 100 homes in a small section.
Right.
Time will tell.
Yeah. Anything else?
So I got.
I don't think I have anything else. Let's see. No. Reminders, I have nothing except for that we have a meeting in 2 weeks. If that's all, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second?
all in favor? Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming. We had an audience this time.